Hi, I'm the mini painting noob, and today I am painting Sir Galahad from the board game Shadows Over Camelot. This guy is the yellow figure that you play in the game, and you can see his character card here. So this is kind of the colour scheme I'll be going for. Blacks, browns, a little bit of yellow, and he's got a fair amount of metallic as well. Now I've already gone through and done the metallic, most of it, just haven't done the shield yet. So in this video I will be painting from darkest to lightest. Focus on that there. Grim black, dark wood, hardened leather, malignant green in place of the yellow, and runic grey. So if you would like to watch me paint, then keep watching now. If you would prefer to just see the end result, then skip to a couple minutes towards the end, and we'll see you there for final thoughts and find out what this guy looks like. Right, so cracking on, we're going to grab some grim black. There isn't much of it on this guy, it's mostly just the sword hilt. And I might just go over some of the shield as well. I'm going to be using a 000 for this piece of work. So it's quite a small brush and a very tiny area on the sword hilt to just get in between the leather straps. So I've got a decent magnifier on so I can see what I'm doing. But no doubt I'll be making a load of mistakes. So let's load up the brush here, get a little bit off so it doesn't kind of flow everywhere. Make sure we're focused. And now this is the challenging bit. So in the sword hilt area there are some squares that are black, and then the straps are leather brown. So what I want to do is get some black in these recesses, and then I'll go over with the brown to get those straps in. Bottom section is purely black, and then we have to get the edges as well. Load up just a wee bit more, take a little bit off, make sure I've still got a decent point. Let's do the top square. There's just a smidgen there, and then the other side of the sword. It's always this side I struggle getting access to. Just go with a few dots like that. We'll let the paint settle where it needs to go. A little bit more there. So it has gone over in a couple of areas. I think once it is dry, I will just wipe some of it off, and we'll just make sure we still kind of have that crisscross pattern happening. Okay, now I think I painted some of this earlier with a different black, and I want to see whether this one works better. I've got a phone call. So, alright, come back in and just show that I have finished that black portion. So just done a little bit of work on the shield and on that sword scabbard. And now I have got some dark wood already out on the board there, and I want to add a couple of drops of medium. And this will just thin that dark wood down a bit, just tone that colour just a wee bit. So let's clean this brush off and give that a mix. And it's a very nice dark brown there. So this is going to be pretty much all over the, I don't know what you would call it, it's clothing anyway. So let's just go, so I've still got my 000. I might make that a wee bit of a bigger brush once we get started. There's just some areas here I'd like to miss, so I'm going for painting dark to light. So the dark colours are very much paint within the lines, and then when I get to the lighter colours, hopefully things get a wee bit easier. Now I think there's lots of texture in here that's supposed to be yellow, but I'm going to just go over it with the brown. You can see here there's lots of little triangles, and we'll see, I might see if I can take some of that brown off later. But if not, all good. Might just be a quick brown and then leave it. Just take some of that off, put some brown on his hand there. So that's the lower part. I could try and get right in behind that sword there, but I don't think anyone's going to be looking right in that gap, so I can probably do a little bit more just behind here. Maybe a little bit less than that. That sort of darkened it up too much. Here we go. Got a bit more on his hand that I don't want there, so it comes off. Alright, now on to his upper part. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because he's got a horse pattern, and I'm not wanting to hit that at all, so I'm going around the horse. And this was one of the reasons I wanted to do dark to light. I think it will be easier to go around it now before there's paint on it. And if I make a mistake, it will be easier to get that off. Looks like it might be a unicorn. Let's get all of that there as well. Yeah, there's some kind of unicorn thing. It's got a spike on its head. its tip of its nose, rub that off. Getting some on his armour again. Probably not too much of a big deal. Make his armour a little bit dirty. That was probably too much paint. Let's take some of that off. Clean up that horse. Alright, now we're going for some fine detail at the side. Up and underneath. There. Alright. A little bit of cleanup to do. I think I got some around here, yep, on that piece. I think that will do fine. Ended up putting out a lot more paint than I thought I was going to use. Just darken this up a bit. And looks like I missed some down here. Let's make sure we get all of these recesses nicely filled. You can get bubbles with Speedpaint, and yeah, when the bubble pops, you have a look and there's no paint under there. Okay, so that is the tunic clothing thing. So that's it for the dark brown or dark wood. Let's wipe that brush off and we'll prep for the next one. Okay, so now we're going hardened leather, and this is for the rest of the sword. Just need a tiny amount here. Okay, so sword scabbard, we've got these crisscrosses, and hoping that my plan to go from dark to light pays off here. So I'm just going to quickly fill these in and not worry too much about going over the lines. Alright, there we go. Just having a look at the figure, he has a belt. It's like a grey belt. I don't know whether that's wrong colour. I kind of like this hardened leather. Let's change it up. He's going to have a hardened leather belt now. And flip them upside down so we can get to this bit. And then one thing I just noticed is the belt extends down lower. So we have this detail here. rub on that a wee bit. Let's lift some of that back off. And then drop some hardened leather on there. There we go. Let's clean off this guy's hands. Keep getting in my way. And the belt continues, wraps around here. So we'll just make that whole thing there brown. There we go. Not looking too shabby. Okay. So, next colour is Malignant Green. Just wash off my brushes again. Alright, now I chose Malignant Green because the colour matches fairly well with that player colour there. So it's not a bright yellow like if had I done it Zealot yellow. Yeah, very different. What I could do if this isn't yellow enough is just stick a teeny amount of Zealot yellow in. But I think Malignant Green, just as if I can get this colour, this top portion, rather than too much of the bottom, we should be alright. So let's see how we go. So probably the least forgiving is going to be these shield portions, and this will be a good test of the colour. Running over it just a wee bit too much there. I don't want a Malignant Green middle parts. Might just clean the sword up after, the shield up after. It's going to keep on going over it. Yep, there we go. Cool, done. So let's do a final wee clean up. Some of the colour's not coming off, it'll just be spreading it around, you're not going to notice. And I'm going over it with a nice grey anyway. Alright, so next. So that looked alright. Let's tackle the, I don't know what you call it, unicorn thing. I'm hoping, because I went dark to light, we're just blocking it in here. And not having to worry too much about edging. So I'm going to get some of this out. There we go. Excellent. Put some of this brown back in. teeny tiny, this area. Not sure how detailed it's showing up while I'm painting it, but I think I can zoom in on the finished product alright. So I get the tip. Oh, gave me a fright still. Yeah, it's got a little bit of brown. Alright, let's call that finished. Okay, so now I've got the cape to do. So we run through, and this is where it's probably the most high risk, because how is this paint going to shade on wide, big areas? Assuming you'll be able to see some of the cape colour through here, so just put some colour in there, and let's do a little bit of clean up of the armour around these places. It's allowed to be a bit reflective, but not too much on there. Right, and then some in here, just I don't think it needs to be fully done. Just a sort of a hint. A hint of colour in there will be good. And then clean up this guy's leg. I don't know if this is a different way of painting, sort of make a mess, clean it up afterwards. You guys painted like that before? I can always try and paint tidy, but it doesn't always pan out. So I prefer to be prepared. Always have my trusty little cleanup brush here, which is a hobby brush standard from Army Painter. Alright, so getting into the main part of the model. Now would be a good time to change to the bigger brush. So give that a quick wipe. Let's go for a number 1. Just trying to get a decent tip on this guy. Haven't used it today. There we go. Yeah, soak up all that paint. And here we go. So get good coverage, and then I'll try and make sure that I've got good blending, sort of, or shading, as you know, looks smooth. I think is the main thing I'm going for. I didn't do a very good job of, I think it's the blue one. Probably just layered it on and didn't really look. There's a few areas here that are sort of repelling paint. See in here, struggling to get some green to stick. Alright, upside down again. Might have to go over it just another time. Get some of these areas that are sort of repelling paint. Must be an issue with the undercoat. And right at the bottom here we can probably go more thicker. And just blend it upwards. Alright. It's not looking too bad. Still a clean up to do. Right here. Alrighty, so back to the triple O, and we'll do this plumage. I might need some more paint. It's drying up. I think the light to dark method sort of worked out right in this instance. Alright, this guy really likes his Malignant green. Okay, one last colour. Just clean these brushes off properly. Okay, so I'll grab some runic grey. It feels like the ball is jammed. Don't squeeze too hard. Yep, definitely. So there's a blockage in there. You need to get a pin and push it out. Don't squeeze the bottle really hard, otherwise you'll squirt paint everywhere. Oh, and have a look at that. There's a drip right underneath my brush. Make sure they don't happen as well. Okay, so the last bit is this shield. So he is a Gravelord Grey. Oopsie. So his armor there is Gravelord Grey over the top of that. Sorry, focus. His armor is Gravelord Grey over the top of a metallic. And I thought the shield should be something a wee bit different. So what I'm going to do is do some Runic Grey. So it's a very light blue grey. And it should just make it stand out a little bit more, differentiate it from the rest of the armour. I think that's it. Just make sure I've got these side edges. And the top. And I won't bother with the back because well, it's white, it's way in there. That's not going to get paint on it. Alright, so there we go, finished product. Rate how I did in the comments. What do you guys think? Maybe I can focus both of them. Well, I've got all these lights shining at it. Anyway, so here is the finished product for Sir Galahad. So he has a brown tunic, dark metal armour, and he likes the pops of yellow, which will go right the way around. Nice yellow cape there. So final thing to do on this figure is to paint the base. So I'll just get some Grim Black. Nice big brush, and you guys can have a look at this figure rotating around while I paint its base here. So, what did you guys think of this video? Give me a like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If I've done a decent enough job to earn your subscription and you want to see some more, then click that button. I try and put up content about once a week, more if I can, but currently running at about once a week. Quality's getting better over time, but appreciate your feedback on video and audio, or even just the content itself. Do you have any tips or tricks for me to help me out. What did you think of the idea of painting dark to light when it comes to speed paints? I think that worked pretty well for me. There's still quite a few areas where I had to touch up because I tend to go over the lines quite a bit. So yeah, for me that dark to light sort of, I think it plays to my strength of not painting well. But yeah, let me know how I did. What did you guys think of it? Did you learn anything? Are you more noob than me and appreciate the long format videos so you can kind of see how all of this stuff works? You can see in behind the sword I didn't do a very good job getting the yellow in there. But is it tabletop ready? I think so. So that was Sir Galahad from Shadows Over Camelot. I've been the mini painting noob, and you guys, as always, are awesome. See ya.